Good morning, people, and what a lovely day. Bit of a chilly night last night, actually. Even lit the fire, for a wee bit anyway. Getting soft in my old age. Right, just made a wee video in the SketchUp program talking about the very thing that we're working on out in the workshop. And that is they're positioning jigs or holding jigs, assembly jigs or something that, well, this thing here, and this is the very first look at doing it, and quite liking the potential. And believe it or not, unanticipated, it might be the solution to a problem I hadn't realised I might have. For assembly things, that is. And that is, I anticipated using this very basic block that can locate into the bench dogs so that it can have pieces pushed up against it and just the quick clamps to, clamp it into position and hold the damn thing so they're not flopping around while you're assembling. The fact that it is registerable in a bench dog type situation achieves that. So flaming simple. Quite often I've made these sorts of brackets up before and clamped them down to the the bench with a clamp, but that's only possible where you can get the clamp. Here, well, I can take it out and put it wherever I want. So that is a major benefit, and with the pins that are fairly firm in the holes, it's not going anywhere. So that's a good thing. Then you can, as I say, you can put your pieces, whatever the pieces are, up against it and clamp it in place, and then you can carry on assembling things. And then once done, that can be taken out and you've got your item, assembled. It also shows that the cut can't be too bad because that is quite long and it's just sitting there quite happily. So that's always a good thing. Now, that wasn't what I wanted to make mention of, believe it or not. It was the fact that this may well be able to be used in a slightly different format. And that is, I've got a particular project, future project, that will require, I'm just going to try and make a representation of, things are falling, I haven't finished this yet. Let me just get a couple of blocks just over here, and they will represent what I'm talking about. If I had to have, say, something of this size assembled with that particular angle on it, don't ask me the angle, this has just been hacked off a piece of timber. But if I needed to have that specific angle in that sort of wood, I could make a block with the pins in it. So I'll just, again, represent it here. I could make the block like this, cut at this angle, determined by whatever the design requirement was. That means that this one would fit up against it. Another piece of melamine or some such could come across like that, and that angle that has been cut into this would align my panel. It locks it in place and gives me access the way I've got it, probably without the actually let's just go there, something like this, imagining that this has been cut on the angle. I can then locate my blocks, which gives me access for fixings, screws or some such. Now, it's going to be triangles, so that could be used down this end for the second set of angles, and no, it won't be at the increments of the MFT top, but it would easily be able to be cut to suit the specific purpose. And of course, the third one would be the same. That then means that I can take the frames out that have been built. I can even take the pieces that are holding it out, and if I want another frame, just pop them back again, because they'll be, of course, numbered to suit, and I can just put them in the MFT top. The MFT tops is what gives it its repeatability and accuracy. So in 6 months' time, and I wanted to build another frame of that exact shape and dimension, pop the jig back into position on the MFT top for all three corners, and I can cut the items, put them in place, and it's exactly what I need. So, and I thought, oh, that does seem to make sense. Why not give it a crack? So at some stage in the not too distant future, that's what I'll be doing. So yeah, it became a solution to a problem I didn't know I had actually had. Or put it this way, I was always going to run up against that problem, and before I even got to it, I've come up with a solution, which is a good way of doing things. And the fact that this sort of piece can be cut out of a wider piece means that the multiple dowels could be used to really physically locate it. That angle, being an internal angle, can be a bit problematic, but because you can add a piece, again, use your imagination, this has been cut on an angle. By adding the piece, I've created the internal angle that I require and its ability to be restricted, so it doesn't slide. I'm going to have to make one up to make that idea more clear. It's more clear to me because I can see its potential. So, yay. Now, I am contemplating, don't know how I will do it or which way I will do it, but I'm contemplating doing what a lot of the other woodworkers, workshop users do, and that is running a 4-inch line around the air line around the perimeter of the workshop, so I can connect this up to it and I can access the pipe work instead of having to drape a flexi hose around. That's got a lot going for it because flexi pipe really kills airflow, and it's inconvenient because it's draped around the place, whereas being able to hook it in, say, on the wall would be that much more convenient. So a bit of PVC pipe run around the perimeter here, not a bad idea. I am looking at running it more up and then having droppers, but each one of those scenarios has its issue. Running it around at, say, waist height is right where some of my tools are, so that's inconvenient. Having it just below might be the best position, and that does away with droppers where some of my tools are. So yeah, so rather than having it up there, I'm going to have it perhaps just a little bit below, and that will mean having it between my bench and my tools. So that's kind of like a dead zone, sort of. Yeah. I have to think about that. That does seem to make sense, though. It's a bit of a dead zone. I can possibly get away with it, although, to be fair, it's going to be affected. Yeah. Wee bit of a thought. A few days ago, I would not have even contemplated doing that. I couldn't see the benefit of it. But I've watched a few videos and I'm going, yeah, I can see why people go in that direction. The other thing that I watched, Matthew Peach, he clarified it for me. It's something I've been saying about for many years, and that was to have that unit out in the shed in the back. I've got a storage area out there, which is actually occupied at the moment, but I wanted to put that outside well, not outside, but, you know, not in the workshop, for a couple of reasons. That's not of a standard that would be tolerated in a lot of situations now. It was okay in its day, and Matthew Peach made the comment that if you do away with the bag, I actually saw this in another video as well, and I can't recall, Rag and Bones Brown or something. No, was it him? No, it wasn't him. But I've been devouring some videos, and one of them said if you do away with that part of the system completely, just have this vented to the atmosphere, not in a workshop, to the atmosphere, then you increase the volumetric efficiency of this because there's no restriction to the fan pushing the air through the fabric of this and the dust and what have you that's caked the inside of it. And I thought, well, that's dead right. And it increases it a lot. And a lot means it can actually probably turbocharge this, and it could, you know, like run away. But it can only go as fast as the motor is going to spin. So, but he also, the guy that actually did it, and I should have actually taken more notice of his website, or his channel's name rather. He throttled it back by having a blast gate effectively connecting to it. So yeah, so you restrict the motor from just running away and causing all sorts of problem, because he was getting to the point where it was 4 times more efficient, and it was causing so much suck that it was causing problems, which is surprising. But anyway, all of these things means that if I move that into the little room out the back there, I could either keep or alter this. And Matthew actually had it, because he was out in the country, he actually had his dumped into on the back of a trailer actually that had, you know, he made up a box effectively, the trailer into a box, and he had some holes in the top of the box, and he just had the chip and dust being dumped straight into it. And I thought, well, that was kind of the thinking I had here. So I'd be quite interested to see how much air this does flow when that filter, that bag is not on there. Take the bag off, take that off, have a good blow down, and then just have it flow, or turned on, and see how much air it does flow. The reason I'm saying that is the dust extractor that I was contemplating purchasing at some stage in the future has gone up in price by a bit, and which is not surprising with the inflation and, you know, the way the world is. It happens. But at $1,500, it was $1,300, now it's $1,500. I'm thinking, if I modify this, or put it this way, if this is working really, really well, and if I can make an improvement on it, it's going to be, with the pipe work, it's going to be better than it is now, and I'm happy where it is at the moment. And if I can then go to that next stage and make this more powerful without blowing dust into the workshop, this really is much cheaper than $1,500 worth of new extractor. Now, the extractor's good when you have to work in the same environment as the extractor itself. But if the extractor is not in the environment, I don't have the potential of dust coming through the fabric, and I've got a more efficient system. Does that make sense to you? Because, boy, crikey, it makes sense to me. Not spending money, yay. Machine not in the same environment as me, and increased efficiency for not spending money and it being out of the way and save space. The problem is I've got to take all the stuff out of the shed, or out of the area out the back there, to put this. Darn it. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, no, I will have to do that anyway. Well, that gives me an incentive to get that removed. The storage, the stuff in the storage area. Well, there's 4 things. 4 things now. Gets me cracking and doing the other job. Saving space in the workshop. Wow, what a concept. Rightio, there you go. That's all I've got to say at the moment. I'm happy where I'm going, and happier still that if I don't have to buy something, hey, I'm happy with that. And if I can make this whole thing work better, probably something I need to chase down sooner rather than later. Rightio, and guess what? You're going to get a video of that too, aren't you? Rightio, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye now.